My life, our lives, that's life. That's Life with Sheran Keyton, chatting about love, life, and everything in between. Your life, my life, our lives, that's life. Your life, my life, our lives, that's life. Your life, my life, our lives, that's life.
Hello, 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 and welcome to That's Life with Sheran Keyton. I'm so grateful that you joined me today. So much to talk about, and I don't want to waste any time. Today's episode is called Spare the Rod. Now, 99% of you know what comes next, right? I think I've always been intrigued by people's use of the saying, the Bible verse, the meaning for their own personal use or other people's, because that's the favorite thing for somebody to say when they're getting in your business and your child is doing whatever and they go, spare the rod, spoil the child. So I grew up hearing that and not even knowing what it meant. Well, today I want to talk to a mom who has not one, not two, not three, but four amazing children. And I want to talk very candidly about different cultures, different family structures, different generations, because she and I think, are kind of in a different generation. And I want to talk about that. I want to talk about sparing the rod. To really spoil a child? I don't know. I want to welcome an amazing young woman who is juggling a family of 5 and I think a couple of dogs. Please, please, please welcome Jennifer Riley Lambert. I'm glad you're here. Hi, honey. It's so good to see you.
You got up even with your shoes.
I know. Listen, everybody. The shoes were a challenge. I don't know. Can we put my shoes in? My shoes? Okay. I think we saw them. So the shoes are, don't tell my secrets. The shoes are a challenge. So Jennifer, hi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm glad that you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Welcome to my new home. Hospitality. I got you a mug. It has water.
That is precious. Is it really water? Maybe something else?
Maybe. We don't sip and tell.
That's cute.
We don't sip and tell.
No, never.
So I want to jump right in because I know that this is a hot topic for so many people. I'm just going to jump right in. When I was a child, my mother spanked us.
Same.
With a W. It was like a whooping. Like we got whoopings. And I was like, ah. And my sister and I turned out really wonderfully.
I think so.
You know? Yeah, so same with you.
Yeah, we
Okay.
got spanked, and I always felt like, well, nothing's wrong with me. So why not, right?
Guess we
Works.
did okay.
We did okay.
Yeah.
Some days.
Okay. Can I ask you, you don't have to tell me your exact age, but your age range?
I am 36. I'll be 37 in just a couple months.
Okay.
Some days I
So-
feel like I'm in my 20s, and some days I feel 40. So
You sound like me, but further up. I'm like, some days I feel 93. So we're about a decade apart, so that's good. And you have how many children?
I have 4 girls.
Yeah.
I have one sweet baby girl in heaven, so really I have 5.
You'll see her again.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me home life. Talk to me about what life is like in your house and whether your husband likes you or not.
He does like me. I'm very lucky. He is my full support system, and I have an awesome mom and mother-in-law who really help us a lot. My mom actually watches the youngest 3 during the day while I work. My husband works, and our oldest daughter actually goes to school with me at kindergarten at my school. So our Monday through Friday is kind of crazy. There's always a lot of mess, and I'm trying to learn to love within the mess because that's just the stage that we're in right now. Mm-hmm. So,
how old are your babies?
Our oldest is 6.5. Her name is Rory. Not Lori, but Rory. Everybody always says that. Lord?
Right.
No.
She's like,
Every time. Then we have a 4-year-old named Lucy who is the wild child, I guess, the spunk of our group. And then I have 1-year-old twins, Holly and Josephine. So they just turned 1 on St. Patrick's Day. And they're our rainbow babies.
no.
So they're very special. They're all special.
I get it. I get it. So I have been stalking you on social media and enjoying watching your family grow exponentially. I'm like, oh, there's some more babies. Oh, Jennifer has some more babies. And I get so excited because you seem to just have it really together. Like the children on social media seem to, they seem
It's
to.
pictures.
It's fake. They seem to really, though, just be well-behaved, well-rounded children. And that intrigued me. That made me go, I want to talk to her about that. So I want to just dive straight in. My mother spanked my sister and I. Do you have siblings?
I do. I have an older sister.
Okay.
I would say she was probably the more difficult child. We might have switched roles by now, I guess.
Yeah.
But I was always kind of the peacemaker. But yeah, we both got spanked.
Okay. Okay. So the fun question, do you spank your children?
Not normally.
Okay.
I try not to. I have before. I remember one incident in particular where I spanked Rory on her arm and I left finger, like a handprint, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt just terrible. And I thought, that's not what I want to do, because that's not teaching anything. It's teaching that if you don't do what I say, I'm going to hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I've spanked her since. That was probably over a year ago. And I mean, yeah, we were going through COVID, and yes, I had just lost a baby, but that's no excuse for harming somebody that I love.
Yeah.
And so, after, or still lots of prayer and lots of help from our whole family, yeah, we haven't spanked them. So it's been hard.
Just like it's difficult. How did she respond? How did she respond, or either of them, when you did spank them? What was the response?
I remember she looked at me and she just had this look in her eyes, kind of like, why would you do that?
Mm.
And it kind of makes me emotional because I'm just like looking back and I can see her face, like, Mommy. And I just knew, like, that's just not what God wants from us. So I got to fix it or change it or do something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can remember the way exactly how she looked right at me, just very vividly.
So what would you say works now? Because you mentioned your second daughter is your wild child. What happens now when she's doing something that could potentially be harmful to herself or one of the babies? What's the punishment now? What do you do now?
Well, okay, I'll give you a story from last night, actually. Mm-hmm. She got mad. She took a toy from one of the babies. I can't remember which one. And her dad, Mike, was like, give that back, whatever. She's running around the house with it, of course, because that's what she can control. And so I'm going, okay, please come here, bring it back. We finally got her to give it back, and she just starts throwing this huge tantrum. I mean, she punched Mike in the nose.
Oh my!
There were some curse words said from him, not me. I have said some words before.
You're like, I'm a Christian.
Jesus forgives me. Thank you, God. But one thing, my mother-in-law, she was the counselor. She taught me that you should first respond with empathy.
Okay.
And so I've been trying to do that anytime I discipline or anytime I try to figure out, what's going on here. First, I try to put myself in her shoes. Okay, why is she upset?
Yeah.
She's upset because she feels like she can't have that toy. From our perspective as adults, it would be like, why are you taking that from a kid? Like, better. Mm-hmm. But really, in her eyes, it's, I want that. How come she gets it and I don't get that? Do you love her more than me? Like, why can't I have it? It's my turn, whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I responded by first, hugging her or trying to. She was kind of fighting me on that one. And I said, let's just go lay down in your bed for a minute and calm down. I couldn't even lift her up because she was still having a horrible fit, just kicking and trying to fight me. And so I took the baby from my husband. One of them was asleep, thank goodness. That made it a little easier.
Yeah.
And he carried her to her bed, and he was just kind of holding her, not like restraining her, but just holding her, and she was crying and screaming.
Yeah.
And I finally came in there, and I just laid with her and just kind of scratched her back and said, I know you're really upset right now, and I'm sorry that you're upset, because I wanted her to know, yes, I care about your feelings. Mm-hmm. And then I explained to her what was going on, or I tried to. She was still screaming. And she actually called for her older sister. I need Rory. I need Rory. Wow. It was the sweetest thing. She's never done that before.
Yeah.
And Rory just immediately runs in and jumps in the bed, and they just hug each other. Mm-hmm. And I can feel her heart rate slow down. Yeah. Like she legit calmed down.
She was seeking solace in her big sister.
I was like, wow, this is so cool. Mm-hmm. I was like, they really do love each other. Okay, we're good. Something is working. And then after she finally calmed down, I talked to her about, the reason why we didn't want you to take that from the baby is because the baby doesn't understand. We know that you understand, but she doesn't. All she knows is, I want. And that's basically it. She's want. So I want, give me, wah, I don't have it.
Yeah.
And so she was like, oh, okay. I said, so what you can do is you can distract her with another toy, wait till she puts that down, and then go sneak it. Okay? It's a distraction.
Good old morals and values.
Distraction.
Yeah.
And it's basically like, wait your turn. It's just another kind of way around it.
Yeah.
So, but after that, she calmed down. I gave her a sleep gummy. She did not want a bath. We read a book. She went right to sleep.
Yeah.
And it was fine. She's happy today. She didn't say anything about it. So
no fussing about the toy.
No.
So do you think that talking to her and explaining to her, and she's 4.
She's 4.
Okay.
She just turned 4 in February.
Oh my goodness.
Right before the twins. So she's little.
She is little. She's
a baby.
And not to mention, she's had your undivided attention as the little one for 3 years now. And now into the house comes not just one new baby, but 2 new babies. And they're getting all of your attention. And so I can imagine that could be a little stressful.
It was probably a big shock.
Yeah. So do you think that was effective? Meaning talking to her, or is it too soon to know?
I think it worked because she did eventually calm down and she stopped hitting. She did apologize without being asked, which was a big deal because usually it's like, sorry,
I was going to say the reluctant apology.
Apology.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, that's not real. But she did apologize, and she was so sweet this morning.
Nice.
So,
nice.
small victory.
And we'll take them. When you have 4 children that young, you take all the victories. You're like, I'll take any victories I can get.
Yes.
So I tried when my children were young, and my children are 28 and 21 now, and I tried various types of discipline because I didn't like being spanked. But my mother was like, come here. You're going to get a whooping. Possibly straight out of the bathtub, and a wet whooping.
Ooh, yeah, those hurt.
Yes, wet whoopings are terrible.
What'd you do? Splash the water out of the bathtub everywhere?
I don't even remember. I was an interesting child. So, and really, I didn't do terrible deeds, but my mouth, I never could just say yes, ma'am, and be done. It was always, but mommy, I.
There's always a but.
Mommy, she,
There's always a but.
Yeah, there's always a but, and I always got my butt whooped because of it. So in school, everywhere, my mom would just say, if you could just shut your mouth. I'm like, Mommy, I'm trying, but, But I decided that I wanted to raise my kids differently. I didn't want to spank them, and I decided that I was going to try some alternative methods of punishment. So at first I tried timeout, and I was like, that's going to work because nobody wants to be in solitude. Well, my oldest son, Sheridan, shout out to my son, hey Sheridan, he enjoyed time out. He would take his socks off and he would pull the elastic string, one string at a time.
Oh,
It's like
goodness.
2 or 3 out of his socks, tie them into knots and make them into hair, put them from in between his fingers like this so the elastic was sticking up, and go, hi, my name is blah, blah, blah. My name is blah, blah. So he would have puppets, destroyed socks, and an amazing time in timeout. I was
Very
like,
creative.
not exactly what I was hoping for, though. Yeah.
Right.
So then I tried taking things away. And again, my kids they really, Sheridan didn't do well with taking things away. My daughter was just like so stubborn. She would be like, fine, I don't want it anyway.
Oh my gosh, my oldest says that.
Right? And so then you're like, now I'm going to spank you because shut up, you talk
Just
too much.
because you're making me mad. Yeah.
Right. So the thing that ended up really working for her is my words. I found out very early on that she cannot stand it when I'm disappointed in her. And so I would tell her either verbally, I can't believe that you did that. I'm so disappointed in you. And then I'd walk away. And she'd go, Mommy. And I wouldn't talk to her. I just kind of keep doing whatever I was doing. Oh, Mommy. And even now, she's 21. If I let her know that I'm very disappointed in her and then I ignore her, or what do the kids say now? Leaving her text message unread. She's like, I can't believe you didn't answer me all day.
You did that on purpose.
Right.
Maybe I was just busy.
But honestly, Jennifer, and I'm very curious to just kind of delve a little more deeply into that from a religious standpoint, from a generational standpoint, from a cultural standpoint. Because ladies and gentlemen, overall, ladies and gentlemen, Black folks whoop their kids. We whoop our kids. Whoop them. And I said in general, so I don't want everybody out there going, I don't whip my kids. And that's a generalization. Of course it is. Of course it is. But culturally, we do. We spank our kids. Generationally, if you're over 40, you've been spanked.
Yeah.
A lot. So I want to kind of delve into that, though, because I did all of these different things. My kids turned out wonderfully, a little wayward at times.
We all make mistakes.
We do. Jesus.
Forgive.
But I think they turned out really well. And I didn't spank them all the time. I spanked them on an as-needed basis, and it was very rare. But I then started to do something which the legal system probably doesn't do nearly as much or as well. I started letting the punishment fit the crime.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And then we're artists, so we're kind of creative with the punishment. So that's really kind of fun. So I want to segue into that. Talk to me about your most creative, effective. Maybe that's 2 different things.
I've got a good story.
Okay, come on, let me hear it.
Okay, so Lucy, she's our wild child.
Yeah, 4 years old.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
They're in the back of the car. I usually don't let them have drinks, but lately they've been more responsible. So I was like, yeah, you can take your water back there. It's just water, whatever. Well, I have the car running. Mike is on his way out to the car. I'm on my way into the house to grab XYZ because there's always something I've forgotten. And in that short time span where he can see the car and I'm going here, they start fighting about who knows what. And they just take their whole water bottles and just squirt each other with them. The whole water bottle.
Oh my God.
The whole water bottle. So I get out to the car and I'm like, well, we're already late. So I guess your punishment is going to be, you're going to be wet wherever we go. And they were so mad. They were like, go get us clothes. And I was like, you know what happens when you squirt water on someone. So that's your punishment. And they were so mad. And then I remember I think it was to Fuzzy's. That's where we were going. We were going to Fuzzy's for lunch. And Rory is sitting over there and she's like, and I'm like, we have jackets in the car. I'm not cold because we were sitting on the patio.
I love it.
And Lucy's like trying to lean back and be in the sun. And I was like, don't squirt water on your sister next time, and that won't happen. And it hasn't happened since.
I am here for letting the children be wet and fuzzies. I love it. I love it. So, okay, so talk to me. First of all, are you done?
With kids?
Yeah.
Well, we had the snippy snip done after the twins. So
Okay.
unless God says otherwise, yes.
Okay, listen, I'm about to get in her business, y'all. Yours or his?
Oh, no, he had the snip snip. My doctor kept trying to get me to do it. She was like, well, we can just tie your tubes up real quick while we're in there. And I was like, no. I said, I'll be that one person that gets the ectopic pregnancy or whatever.
Oh,
and I
my
end up with
gosh.
all this problems.
Yeah.
Said, no, not with my luck. I said, he's going to take care of it.
Yay.
And he did.
Yay. Shout out to Mike.
That's right.
Okay, so unless the good Lord says the same, no more children. What are you looking to do, meaning as they get to being teenagers? Because we all know with girls, especially with girls and their moms. Talk to me about it. How are you going to handle the potential things? They could just become perfect angels. No one sneaks out. No one has a secret boyfriend. No one does anything ungodly, but then they could not. So talk to me about how your punishment is going to change as they get older, or...
I think it'll be the trust and the responsibility aspect. So I want to have like a curfew, but it's not going to be like, well, if you're not here at 11, the door is locked. It's going to be like, hey, I would like you to be home between 10 and 11. Mm-hmm. And then that way it's like a little more leeway. It's kind of giving them a little more choice, I guess.
Okay.
And just trying to trust them, which is really hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
It is
giving them
hard.
the tools to, be godly people and know their self-worth and know that no matter what, whatever they do, whatever mistake they make, we're going to be there for them. And, if you do something wrong, I want you to call me.
Yeah.
Because I'll help you.
Yeah.
I'll help you fix it. If we can't fix it, we'll pray about it. We'll do something until we can fix it.
I like that.
So that's the plan.
Did you fail as a parent if your proposed method of disciplines just don't work?
No, because I really feel like in the end, what kind of person is your child or your kids? Mm-hmm. And that's, it's not really about the I won, I have the control. It's more about the end result, the big
Mm-hmm.
picture. Are they going to be good people?
Yeah.
So I guess you kind of win if they're good people.
Yeah.
Sort
Either
of.
way. Yeah.
But even if your discipline stuff didn't work, you just want them to turn out to treat each other with kindness and love people,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it says.
It does say it in the Bible.
That's right.
All right. So here's the funny thing. I kind of keep going back to this, and I can't help it because it's just who I am. So this show, That's Life with Sheran Keyton, is not supposed to be like a faith-based show. But every time you turn around, 8 pound, 6 ounce baby Jesus just comes sneaking on in, and I'm like, there you go again, Jesus. So let me just ask you this question, and we're gonna make it quick because we gotta wrap it up. Where does your belief system, or how does your belief system align with your choice not to spank your children? So if the Bible says, spare the rod, spoil the child, and we grew up believing or understanding that meant if you don't spank your kids, they're going to be spoiled. Whoop your kids. So talk to me, Talk to me about that.
Well, I really feel like a lot of the Bible is meant to be interpreted, and a lot of people take so much of it literally.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like things have changed. There's so much that's different now versus back then when they were writing this stuff, that you kind of have to change and adapt, because that's kind of what our whole world is.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess just I want to keep praying that I'm doing the right thing. I feel like I never really am gonna be 100% feeling successful.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always feel like it exactly lines up with what the Bible says. But if I am trusting God and I'm teaching my kids to trust God, then I feel like maybe I'm doing the right thing. I hope.
I love that. I love that. So I need you to do me a favor. I need you to look right there into that camera, and I need you to give them 1 minute of your best advice as far as disciplining your children, knowing your children, and being the best parent that you can be, regardless of your upbringing, your culture, your generation, your religious affiliation. Like, just when it gets down to the nitty gritty, what does it mean to be a good parent, a good disciplinarian, but most importantly, a good parent?
I really feel like the best advice I have gotten is to love your kids, respond with empathy first. If you are responding out of anger, it's not going to help the situation. Are you helping or are you hurting? There's always going to be a right or wrong way to handle something, and it's okay to admit that you're wrong. Like, a lot of people will say, like, oh, I don't want to look wrong in front of my kids, or I don't want to look like a failure, or I mess up. But the real failure is pretending that you know everything, because no one does. So when you get good advice, you hold on to that and you share it with other people, and you talk to other people about what can I do differently or what can I be better. So don't be so afraid, I guess, to admit that you're wrong or to admit that you've made a mistake, especially to your kids, because you don't want them like trying to be perfect all the time. We're not perfect. God didn't make us to be perfect.
Absolutely.
And I feel like there's just already so much pressure on kids anyway about testing and all this stuff at school and the right clothes to wear. But what is important to you is what's going to be important to your kids. So if you're teaching your kids that it's important to respond with kindness, they're going to know that kindness and the way you treat people is what's most important to you.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to once again say thank you so much to Jennifer for being here. I love being able to candidly talk about things that sometimes people don't want to talk about. Sometimes it seems taboo, and spanking children is definitely a taboo subject. I think we're all individuals. We're all very different. We all come from very different generations and religions and socioeconomic statuses. And we're just all very different. But as much as we are different, so are our children. Not one formula works for the same child across the board. Not one formula works for the same family across the board. So I think that it's just really important to know your family, know yourself, know the needs of your home and your lifestyle and your everything, and respond accordingly. Whether it's putting them in timeout or taking things away or a good old-fashioned whooping. I am so happy that you all stopped by today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's Life with Sheran Keyton. Thank you for tuning in to That's Life with Sheran Keyton. If you thought that was something, you ain't seen nothing yet. Hashtag watch, hashtag like, hashtag share, hashtag subscribe. See you next time.